it won't harm us, but it will become one with the whole. And so don't worry about the AI. Send the AI love, because if you send it God's love, the AI won't harm us. It will actually be a benefactor to us. And so we need to realize this. And we receive the love power from God, and that empowers us to perfect our bodies. It's the most powerful thing to heal us. You know, Vicki and I have been watching The Chosen, and it's quite interesting because it's the story of Jesus. And Jesus, as he walks up to people, you know, first he's got to clear out all the demonic energy or negative spirits that are in people, because they are attracted to us. They cause us a lot of sucking out of our energy and having us do things that we shouldn't normally do. And, you know, right now we're living on a planet that is possessed by, you know, thousands, well, millions and billions of souls that have died, and they've died in their sins, and they want to fill those again, and so they come and they possess people and cause them to do things they wouldn't normally do. And so Jesus would depossess, you know, 60% of the time he was depossessing people before he would even heal them. And so as you watch this, he does get rid of the possession, you know, being possessed, and then he asks them, do you have the faith to heal? And when they say yes, literally their faith and having the Son of God there in front of them, they heal immediately. And, you know, it was really interesting. In the one we watched last night, one of the people was at this spring of water, and the spring, and this is actually in the Bible, that the spring would force water up about every 24 to 36 hours. It wasn't ever constant, so people would have to wait by the pool. And as soon as the spring started shooting up the water, they'd hurry and try and be the first one to get in there. And there was this belief that only one of them could heal, the first one to get to the water. And this guy, his legs were totally crippled since birth, and he would try to get in, and he was there for 30 years trying to be the first one, and he could never beat anybody because he was very crippled. And Jesus walked in after he'd been there for 30 years, and he took and he looked at him, and he said to him, you've got to start believing that it isn't the water that's going to heal you. It's your faith. And he said, he looked at him like, how can I have more faith? And Jesus taught him and helped him understand and looked at his soul, and he could feel him in his soul. And he said, get up, take your bed, and walk. And not necessarily exactly like that, but basically those are the things he said to him. And he started moving his legs for the first time in his life. And he grabbed his bed, and these Pharisees were there watching this, and the Sabbath had occurred. And he picked up his bed, and the Pharisees are like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to carry things during the Sabbath. And this Jesus said, take up your bed and walk. And he did. He took up his bed and started walking, and he just leapt for joy because his legs actually started working, and he was healed. And these Pharisees come over and tell him, you can't carry your bed on the Sabbath, and who told you to carry your bed? And he says, he didn't tell me his name, but he did tell me to take up my bed and I could walk, and so that's what I'm going to do. And despite the Pharisees, he took his bed and walked out of there and didn't ever touch the water because he was healed. Mm-hmm. So those kind of things are going to be happening, but we've got to start believing. We've got to start following the laws of God, worshiping God, devoting ourselves to God, And when we do that, the law of attraction brings all of it back to us 20 to 200 fold. So, you know, it's time. I'm starting to worship more. And we don't need to go to a chapel. We can worship at home. But when we go together and learn together, it's a very powerful process. And especially when we go with teachers who will teach us to love God with all our heart, mind, and soul, and bring that power back to us. So this is the chapel there in Delphi. And as we walked in, this is the poster. And Vicki went over and I took a picture of her. And as you can see, even her auric field started expanding. You know, see how it's brighter white right through there. And in the painting, he painted it like this, but it felt like you could feel the power of Jesus. Especially when you went over and put your hands in front of his hands, it was like, wow, amazing energy. And so I want you to know that I know that God exists, and God is a power that created our whole universe and created us in his likeness and image. And when I say that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't believe these things anymore, believe it or not. They believe in the religion of science, and they have to prove everything. And with God, you don't have to prove anything. You just need to believe, and you will receive through your faith healing, money, love, accomplishment, whatever you desire. But our true desire should be devotion to God and in getting on the path that we came to do. And we can determine that when we focus on God. We actually will receive insight, will receive messages that help us get on the path that we're supposed to be on. So, in our inner world, we have, it's made up of our thoughts, emotions, values, habits, memories, and desires. And our outer world is made up of people, objects, made of different places, as well as personal experiences and social encounters. And we need to come back to the Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness and love of God is what's going to save the planet and actually cause the ascension to happen. We've got to get at least 51% of us, of the humans, the humans who have the DNA of God still in their bodies. We need to manifest the DNA of God back into the bodies of those who've been changed and altered. And Saint Germaine knew this, and that's why he brought forth the 24-strand DNA manifestation and doing it in plural. 10 of my kids, out of 10 of them, 5 received the thing that altered their DNA, and they were getting mean and nasty that we weren't participating in this thing. And so I prayed to God, and I received the message we needed to do the 24-strand DNA in plural, and it would help our children, help our friends, help everyone around us, send the energy out into the world. And especially if you bring God's love in with that, it makes it even more powerful. And so I started doing that for these 5 kids, and it actually changed them. They became nicer, more kind, and they quit harassing us to do what they had done. And so it's amazing how we can use the love of God, the power of God, to change everything. But we all need to participate in this, because the more people we have doing this, the more power will return to the planet through God's love. The more love will come back to the planet, the more organization, the more perfection. You know, they've been terraforming the planet, and you know, people are mentioning, y'all, why is it so cold? Well, guess what? They've been putting particles in the atmosphere to keep the sun from coming in. And, the sunlight comes from a fifth dimensional orb that we call the soul or the sun. And our sun generates power for us. And it sends it through light, plasma, and love, which is God energy. It's fifth dimensional energy. So our sun is a fifth dimensional orb. There's actually sun people who live on the sun in the fifth dimension. And our earth is supposed to receive its paradisical glory, which is becoming a fifth dimensional orb. And that's when the ascension happens. We will all become light, love, and plasma, fifth dimensional beings, and the earth will become light, love, and plasma. And how do I know this? Because this is what I've been trained by the Ascended Masters. And there will be a place provided for the people who want to stay in the third dimension, and but only the good ones will remain. And because there's supposed to be 1,000 years of peace and harmony, and that's because all of the evil will be taken away from our universe, literally. And that's why there's so many beings from other places in the universe here. They're not here to invade us. They're here to watch what happens, because whatever happens to humanity will happen to the universe. And so it's important for us to work toward bringing the love of God. And let me tell you, there's no better thing that you can feel in your life. The reason Jesus got so many followers so quickly is they could feel that love of God with Jesus, and they wanted it because it made them feel peace in their hearts, love in their hearts. It made them become whole, become complete, because a lot of the things that disturb our health and our strength and our mental capacity is following the darkness, making bad choices, getting possessed. There's a lot of things that can cause disharmony in our bodies. So I want to play a little music and bring about the love of God meditation. And it's interesting because there's a lot of spins to it, and it's important that we do what God has taught us. And so what I've been taught is you just take 3 cleansing breaths. So breathe in deep into your heart the love of God, and then hold it for at least 6 seconds. Law of threes, 3, 6, 9, and then release. Breathe it in again. The love of God into your heart, your mind, and your soul. Hold it for 3 seconds. 3 or 6 seconds, whatever you can do. If you want to hold it 9 seconds, that's fine. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God in your heart, your mind, and your soul, fulfilling the first commandment of God. And release. Now bring a breath in. Bringing the love of God into your heart, bring it up into your throat chakra. Everything I hear and I say is with the love of God, and there's nothing that I say or hear that isn't with the love of God. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God into your heart, bring it up into your 5th chakra, in your center of speech and hearing. All my vibrations I send out with my voice are with the love of God. All that I hear is with the love of God. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God in your heart, and bring it up into your voice and your hearing. I only hear the true teachings of God, and I only with the love of God, and there's nothing that I see that isn't the love of God. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God into your heart. Bring it up into your vision center. I see with the eyes of God, and there's nothing that I don't see without the love and the sight of God. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God in your heart, bring it up into your mind. Into your eyes, your vision center. This is the third breath. All that I see out of my third eye is teachings and love of God, and everything that I see through my vision is the love of God, and interpreted with the love of God. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God into your heart. Bring it up into your mind this time. Everything I think about is with the love of God. There's nothing I think about that isn't without the love of God. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God in your heart, bring it up into your mind. My mind only thinks about the laws of the universe and the laws of God. And I comply with those laws of God and change my life into the love of the commandments of God. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God into your heart, bring it up into your mind. I only think about the love of God in my life, and I bring that love of God through my mind to everyone, through my thoughts. Release. Breathe in again. The love of God in your heart, and bring it up into your 8th chakra, which is your mighty I am presence. My mighty I am presence is connected to the love of God, and it connects me to God, and I only am connected to God through my mighty I am presence. And release. Bring in the love of God in your heart. Breathing it in with your breath, the power of God. Bring it up into your mighty I am presence. I follow the teachings with my connection to God through my mighty I am presence, and I bring that power back into my body, my physical body. And release. Breathe in again, the love of God into your heart. Bring it up into your mighty I am presence. My mighty I am presence is connected to all the other ascended masters and beings following God in the universe, and I am only connected to them and the love of God. And release. Breathe in again the love of God into your heart, and bring it down into your solar plexus, your emotional center. All my emotions are connected to the love of God, and I forgive any emotions that are not aligned with God, and I let go of those emotions out of my organs, my systems, and release. Breathe in again the love of God into your heart. Bring it down into the solar plexus. All my organs that have stored any negative emotions, I release these and forgive them through the love of God, and let them go so they don't harm my organs or my systems or my digestion. And release. Breathe in again. The love of God into your heart, bring it down into your solar plexus. My solar plexus is filled with the love of God, and through the love of God, my emotions